Hello everyone and welcome back to Quickies in the Kitchen. Today I will be your host. My name is Lydia and I am Joe's fiance. Today we will be making a cozy Guinness shepherd's pie, one of my favorite recipes. We're going to start this off by boiling our chopped up potatoes and then stirring up 2 egg yolks and milk to add in later once potatoes have been boiled and cooled off. While the potatoes are boiling, I'm going to go ahead and get started in prepping our filling. I absolutely love garlic, so I think I'm using about 6 cloves of garlic in here if I can figure out how to use the garlic press. It was about $5 from IKEA, and I definitely broke this thing the next time I ended up using it. Now we have our chopped rosemary, thyme, and garlic all ready to add in later to our ground beef. I'm going to go ahead and brown that. There should be a little bit of extra fat once it's done browning, so just pour some of that out. You do want to save about 2 to 3 tablespoons of this. Now I'm going to go ahead and add about 6 to 7 chopped carrots and then a whole yellow onion that I had chopped up too. I really love having a lot of veggies in my shepherd's pie filling, so this may be more than most recipes call for. Once your potatoes are soft enough to be easily sliced with a paring knife, go ahead and drain those. After draining the potatoes, I'm actually going to bring these back into the pot. That way they can go on the burner for about another minute or 2 to bring all of that excess moisture out of them. This makes really nice and fluffy potatoes. Now I'm taking them off of the stove and I'm grabbing my handy dandy potato ricer, another one of my $5 IKEA tools that I've gotten. Using a ricer rather than a potato masher will definitely get all of those lumps out. This will also make it easier when we start to add in some of our grated cheese and that egg mixture that we're going back to. I'm sprinkling in the Dubliner white cheddar cheese in between ricing the potatoes so they don't cool off too much and that cheese gets nice and melty and it's much easier to stir in. And as always with shredded cheese, you get a little snack while you're cooking. Now we're bringing this back onto the stove to mix in all of that cheese, making sure it's well incorporated. Then we can go ahead and start adding in some of our seasoning. So of course we're going to need some salt and lots of black pepper. And when I say a lot of black pepper, I mean a lot of black pepper. I mean, I probably don't have any black pepper left in that grinder after I'm done with this. And a little sprinkle of garlic powder never hurt anybody. You're going to want to mix all that up and then get your apparently very hot bowl of butter out of the microwave and pour that into the potatoes. Then we're going to bring back that egg and milk mixture once the potatoes have cooled off a bit and stir it in. That'll give it a really velvety finish. These potatoes were so good. I could have eaten them just by themselves. They were that amazing. By now our carrots and onions should be nice and soft, so I'm going to take that minced garlic and add that in right in the center of the pot to make sure it gets direct contact with the heat. And then I'm going to be taking some of my tomato paste and creating a circle around that, again making sure that gets on the heat as well. This is going to make our mixture nice and thick, so give that a stir and let it cook for about 5 to 8 more minutes or so until everything's really nice and combined. And of course we can't forget our chopped herbs before adding in a few tablespoons of flour. This is what's going to create that glaze to the center of the pie. So give that a stir and let it cook again for about 5 more minutes until you can't smell the flour anymore. Now we get to pour in the beer. Yes, we're going to pour a whole cup of Guinness directly into there, as well as a whole cup of beef stock. I believe I got beef bone broth for this to give it a really deep flavor. And what even is a shepherd's pie if you don't have some Worcestershire sauce in there? We're also going to apply the rest of the Guinness to the chef as needed. Now for my fancy discovery that I made while I was shopping at Whole Foods. They actually have their own demi-glace pucks that you can buy. It smelled kind of odd, but this was definitely something that took a okay shepherd's pie to one of the absolute best ones that I ever had. So while it was a little strange working with it since I'd never used it before, I would highly recommend checking that out. Our final ingredient is adding in all of the frozen peas that your heart desires. I believe I'm going to add in about half of a bag into here. Nope, 3/4 of a bag then. Got a big chunk in there. Well, yeah, might as well just use the whole bag because they're really good. Now look at this, our filling is ready. The kitchen smells so good and cozy, and now all that's left is to put the mashed potatoes on top. I'm spreading those out as evenly as possible on top of our filling, and now it's ready to go into the oven. I let this cook for about 25 minutes in a 350-degree oven, taking it out at about the 10-minute mark to grate some more of that cheddar cheese on the top. This will get super crispy in the last few minutes of cooking, and it makes all the difference. If you want it even more crispy on the top, you could even throw it in the broiler for about 3 to 5 minutes on high. Now our pie is done, and we have a super delicious, cozy, absolutely mouth-watering dinner for a few days now because this was an absolutely huge pot. I went ahead and served myself after letting it cool for about 10 minutes or so. And let me tell you, I've made this recipe a few times before, but finding that demi-glace puck definitely did make a huge difference. This was one of the best shepherd's pie that I've ever made, and probably one of the best ones that I've ever had even. I know we love to pair our foods with cocktails, but really there's nothing better to pair this with than a Guinness. Well, anyways guys, thank you for joining me for my first video on this channel, and we'll see you next time for another Quickie in the Kitchen. Oh, almost forgot my beer.